Hey YouTube, SpyPlane662 Gaming here. With my second character, I've got two characters here on the division. Been playing this for about a little over 4 months now. Didn't take me that much longer to level up this guy to level 30, and since I had a 30 gear score 256 character who had farmed a lot, I had gear set up for him when he was ready to hit 30. But what's really nice about this guy is, after patch 1.6, I was running this high-end exotic build for both characters for, a week or so, and then obviously later on I picked up some Striker's gear for both guys. Striker's set isn't so good on this guy as it is on the other character, but I tend to go back and forth between the high-end exotic and Strikers on this character too when I'm doing my farming. Again, just to be able to have the two characters is really nice to get double the Phoenix credits, caches, and of course all the other items and the loot that you get from the bosses in the light zone. Occasionally go out to the DZ for the weeklies and the dailies. I don't PvP much. I'm absolutely horrible at it, but I'm trying to get better at it. So with this build video, we've got an assault rifle setup and also a SMG setup. Again, running the Bullfrog and the lightweight M4 as my secondary. The Bullfrog is a little bit tough to handle. I put it away for a little while back in 1.6 when it first dropped. I was running the 4-piece Alpha Bridge 2-piece Nomad back in 1.5. And for obviously the Alpha Bridge sharing all the talents between the two ARs, I was using the lightweight M4 as a primary and the Bullfrog just for the uncomplicated. And of course the additional talents here too. So Bullfrog, this is one that I had back in 1.5, 21% enemy armor damage, 22.3 thousand damage here with 8,000 rolled into firearms. Fire rate's absolutely phenomenal here, guys. It's just ridiculous. Melt through, folks, if you can get the thing on target. And of course, mag size is pretty decent too. Talents I've got was deadly, responsive, and of course uncomplicated. I was pretty lucky with this one here. This one had all the talents that I wanted. Didn't want to roll anything away. Standard Bullfrog weapons mods here. No accuracy, stability mods. So was really pleased with the mods I put on this. This is my second Bullfrog. I've got one like this on my other character too, which pretty much does about the same, if not a little bit better damage output, since he's carrying a higher firearms on this character. Omega rifle suppressor was pretty decent. Nice find there. Instead of that optimal range, I would probably like to have something else, but I like the added range here. Again, with the way that this thing dances around, the recoil, the range doesn't really do you any good, so I'm still looking for a better muzzle on this gun. Reload speed was critical for me on this rifle because of the fact that you go through the magazine so fast. Again, critical hit damage is nice to have on here, but that optimal range, just haven't been able to find a better hand stop for this. A magazine that added rate of fire and reload speed was critical, and of course the mag size. Always a plus here for these ARs. This scope could be a little bit better. I'm still looking for a better scope here, but again, it's the best I've got here for this Bullfrog build. Lightweight M4, 22% enemy armor damage, 24.5k base damage with 8,000 firearms. Fire rate's a little bit less than the FAMAS, or the Bullfrog, but it's doing pretty good. I've got a little bit of a rate of fire rolled into it. Brutal, deadly, and competent. I do also have another lightweight M4 that has a little bit better damage output. That runs self-preserve, destructive, and ferocious. Again, this is my mostly my PvE secondary weapon that I use. But again, when I go out into the dark zone, I end up running this lightweight M4 for these talents. Really pleased with these talents. Got lucky with that deadly roll first try. And of course, again, the Omega rifle suppressor, pretty decent suppressor here. Pleased with that. Small grip was nice. Could be a little bit higher in crit hit damage. And of course, the magazine reload speed, rate of fire. This scope's a little bit better. This VX1 scope's a little bit better than the other one that I've got on the Bullfrog. This one also has the added stability though. So again, pretty pleased with both these weapons here. To follow up with that, I've got the Vigorous Chest rolled into firearms. I ended up having a 16.4 health in this one, which was really nice. EDR is pretty decent, especially when you're running against those solo challenge missions that I do a lot of. Trying to farm for a Barretts chest piece for this guy. Um, and the ammo is always an added bonus here too. Oh, by the way, I'm still, just like another guy, I'm running firearms health mods predominantly on this gear piece. Specialized pack, nothing special about this. Pretty low end on the armor roll. I got it rolled in the stamina here. Got it health bump here with the ammo. But again, still at my target 8,000 firearms, 4,000 stamina. Running a pretty decent toughness here too. Added health with all these gear mods. I finally found a tenacious mask for this guy. I was running the ferro oxygen mask for this guy too. I've got probably 2 or 3 of these. But I finally found a pretty decent tenacious mask for this character. It was spec'd into skill power. I haven't really touched it yet. I'm absolutely pleased with this one here because of the added healing that I get with that skill power burn, and of course it comes with burn resistance, which is nice. The firearms health mod is one I put in here. Just bought these from the weekly vendor a couple weeks ago. It's the best I can get for this character. My firearms health mods on the other character are much stronger. I found those back in 1.5. MC Skull's gloves. These are pretty decent. Low firearms roll, but I did have that crit hit damage. Skill haste. I wasn't too thrilled for an AR build, but yeah, I found 20 sets of these gloves, and this is probably the best one that I could roll into assault rifle damage. I've got a set here also for SMG with a little bit of health on kill. Enemy armor damage more related to PvE, but I ended up bumping it up to 1260 in the firearms. So I'll go between these two here when I switch out to my SMGs, which I'll talk about here later. This is my second set of 3 championship shortbow championship pads. I didn't have any in 1.5. I found them all here in 1.6 mostly through caches. The 2 that I'm wearing on these characters are just so happen to have the health. I actually had to roll it in on this one, but had a pretty low firearms, and it did come with increased kill XP. Would have been nice to have something else like a burn or bleed resistance on this, but hey, that 0.2 second fuse burns pretty sweet, and I'm rolling firearm skill power. I got really lucky with this firearm skill power mod. Absolutely crushed it here. Can't remember where I found it, and of course first aid self heal. By the way, if I haven't mentioned it on the specialized pack, same thing, firearms health, first aid self heal there. Nimble holster as everyone's running. I ended up getting the health on here and first aid self heal on the mod, but I bumped it up to 1262 on firearms. Again, I always like to run the 8,000 firearms on this guy. Pretty tough, pretty tough character here dealing with PvE and the NPCs, but I still haven't experimented with this build much yet in the dark zone. I go out there just to farm the weeklies and dailies. And I always get killed. I just suck at PvE, but I guess guys that are running similar builds like this are shredding in the dark zone, probably against guys like me. So that's the assault rifle build here. I mean, nothing spectacular here. Again, doing 25k weapon damage, crit chances 6%, 61 critical hit damage, and 110 on the headshot damage. No stability on this bullfrog, and of course the reload time is pretty decent. Got that 31% weapons damage bonus for this and off the gloves, which is absolutely phenomenal. Love that, and the 1300 AR. Again, you just got to hit the targets. That bullfrog's just really hard to keep on target with the consoles. So, no health on kill with this setup here, obviously. 21 enemy armor damage, and health is pretty decent, 234k. Only mitigating about 30.9% on this with this build. Could be a little bit better, but again, it's what I've got. Uh, abilities and skills and talents, I'm still running kind of the same thing, guys. Tac scanner in PvE. I'm running the scrambler in PvP, or in the dark zone when I get out there. Booster shot and the recovery link. I pretty much stick with steady hands on this guy if I'm running this build with the bullfrog. On the move is always critical for me, and critical save and strike back. So again, what's nice is Just sitting here. I've got this Bullfrog as my primary. You all know on the console it's really hard to keep this thing on target, so I'll try to shoot Fred here. Center mass, obviously, with this weapon, and as you can see, I'm doing my best to keep this thing inside. I'm not doing a good job, obviously, because it does just move all around. I get a little bit better as I get warmed up here on my daily farming runs, but what's nice about this steady hands is you get down in the cover, and it does help stabilize this platform a heck of a lot better. And in fact, I can even go ahead and get into some headshots. This is without the steady hands. It's pretty hard to keep the target on his head. Okay, ooh, look at that, all over the place. But with that steady hands talent activated, it is a little bit easier. Again, I'm not achieving that many headshots with this rifle. It's just the burst rate and DPS output from that rate of fire. Okay, M4 is a little bit better. I do a better job of keeping this guy center mass. Obviously, when you're trying to stack, especially when you're running that striker's gear, headshots aren't too terribly bad. I try to practice on the headshot. Um, on the headshot scores with this rifle, but the steady hands definitely helps this guy out a lot. Got a little bit of stability built into the M4. So again, I'm on the console Xbox One. I'm not primarily a shooter player, but I love the game. It's absolutely fun. So with the M4, 24k damage, 6 crit hit chance, 74% crit hit damage, a little higher headshot damage here too, because I'm probably going to land more. I'd probably say on average with this lightweight M4, when I'm going for headshots, I probably land about 35%. I mean, that's a very conservative answer. 35% is what I'm hitting. A little bit of stability on this guy here. Reload speed could be better, obviously. I'm only getting that 60% buff off the MC Skulls glove, and that's pretty much it for this guy. Any armor damage 22%, and yeah. So that's the high-end exotic build for the ARs. Now, if I were to go ahead and run my MP5 ST and my MP7, I just found another one yesterday, a little bit better damage output. It's not by much, but what I like about it is that it's got brutal and unforgiving. I'm still trying to figure out what to roll into this top spot. So if you have any suggestions, leave a comment below. So I've got this one here, running 19 crit hit chance, 20k base damage on 8,000 firearms. Wonderful fire rate, love it. Rolled in responsive, brutal, and self-preserved. So it's one of my first MP7s that I got here. So I'll go ahead and roll these in, change out my gloves to my SMG build, and we'll get a good idea what I'm doing here damage-wise with the MP5 and the MP7. Again, both SMGs have a pretty decent fire output, rate of fire. I wish the MP7 had a bigger magazine, but it just doesn't. So again, so pretty much with the MP5, these guys really don't need much stability at all. I mean, these guys are going to be pretty easy to help you land those headshots. I got the loud vent brake, running a small red grip. The gear is not the best on these weapons here. It could be a lot better. Created chance to rate of fire on the mag and mag size, and I got the pro red dot. Just found this one the other day. Was happy with this one here. So again, stability is not necessary, but much better than the old scope I had on here before. Still running destructive, deadly, predatory on this one here. As you can see on a console, it's really not too hard to keep the SMG stable. It's just, I like the way that those assault rifles hit. And getting that on the move, or the steady hands, excuse me, just adds to it. And of course that MP7, man, this thing's just blistering fast. I wish it had a bigger magazine. Golly, that'd be nice. A lot of folks, you could definitely tell by the sound and the shape of the weapon that they're using these things out there a lot in the dark zone. So booster shot on the MP5 puts it at 410, MP7 at 361. And let me go back to my Bullfrog and the LM4. So still, you know, really hard to keep this thing on target. Still trying. Much easier with the lightweight M4. So again, I'll do another video probably with this guy in my Striker Nomad build. I don't know if I want to, but again, the benefit of having that Striker's 20% stability buff with the steady hands, it makes this Bullfrog a lot more manageable. So I end up running the Bullfrog a lot more as a primary on my Strikers as opposed to, I run the lightweight M4 on my hand exotic build here with this guy. Booster shot here on the Bullfrogs, just doing about 494, just under 500,000 DPS, and 424 on the lightweight M4. Again, pretty decent setup here. I'm pretty happy with it. I wish I had a Barretts chest piece. That'd be nice. I wish I had better gloves, but can't complain. Anyways, thanks for the visit, guys. If you liked the video, give it a like, leave a comment if you have any suggestions. I'd really like to know what you guys think I should roll into this MP7 at that top slot. Again, with Brutal and Unforgiving, I'm pretty sure that that's going to be really nice for me in the Dark Zone when I'm coming across any rogue agents. So anything that you guys could recommend for this weapon, please let me know. I'm thinking probably, I don't know, responsive maybe. I don't know. It's already got that Unforgiving is really nice because I spend a lot of time in the Dark Zone down in the second segment of health. So, or the lower segments of health rather. Anyways, thanks for the video, guys. I'll take care.